Attention entrepreneurs, are you ready to take your business to new heights? Join us for the TV Media Tour, where you'll gain the exposure, elevation, and expansion strategies you need for success. Get the tools and insights to run a thriving business. Register today at tvmediatour.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Transform your business. Register now.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of LaQuita's Toolbox Live. I am your host, LaQuita Monley, and I am absolutely excited to have my special guest in studio with us today. He is none other than Mr. Riccoh Player. And listen, y'all got to stay tuned to find out more about all of the wonderful things that he has done and is currently doing. But before we do that, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors at Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith-based Christian apparel and accessory shop where we as believers are able to shop online for clothing and accessories that allow us to wear the message of the love of Jesus Christ. Go out to www.covenant-press.com. Again, that's www.covenant-press.com. Shop until you drop, ladies and gentlemen, but do not click off of those pop-ups too quickly because they contain codes. When applied at checkout, they can be used for some amazing savings on your purchases through Covenant Press. Listen, guys, we have a fantastic guest in studio with us today. His name is Mr. Riccoh Player. Mr. Riccoh Player is a decorated U.S. Marine veteran with extensive operational and tactical experience, including multiple combat tours spanning more than 3 decades, including Operations Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Shining Hope, Iraqi Freedom, and Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan. Riccoh's mission in life has led him to many places, and currently he is the Emmy award-winning CEO of ParadeDeck.com. And as the Emmy-winning CEO of ParadeDeck.com, he is also a documentary filmmaker and author with a demonstrated history of working with Congress, the Departments of Defense, and Veteran Affairs, the American Legion, as well, and the entertainment industry. He dedicates his skills and experience to reducing veteran suicides and homelessness while championing adventure therapy. He has done so many wonderful things and continuing to be a blessing in our military community. Welcome to the Toolbox, Riccoh. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm blessed. Just thrilled to be here. I appreciate you making some time in your busy schedule to have me on your show. And I've been a fan from the very beginning. And it goes all the way back to, that first episode, the first season, Do You Know Your Worth? So you've come a long way. I mean, there were 8 episodes in that first season. You just kept building and building and building. And good is only good until what? Greater is envisioned. Amen. So you are a living example of that. So thank you for allowing me to be on here today.
Oh, thank you so much for being a supporter. Love the work that you're doing. I remember the first time I was in a meeting and you were being introduced. So for those of us that were some of the initial members of Parade Deck, and I was like, wow, this gentleman is doing some fantastic things. So look, we won't belabor the chit chat too long. I know people are wanting to get in and like, okay, we want to hear what y'all have to talk about. Listen, y'all, take a moment, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons, and let's make sure that this broadcast is getting out to as many people as possible. And those of you that are tuning in also from the Parade Deck TV, as well as the Daily Faith Network, we appreciate you guys. Appreciate you so much for your continued love and support of all things LaQuita's Toolbox. But so, Riccoh, in your bio, I read that you have over a 30-year history as being a member, an amazing member of the U.S. Armed Forces. Can you give us like a quick snapshot of your time in service?
I can, and I'll try my best. It's a challenge to do that. It's like stuffing the history of the Vatican onto a postcard because there's so much in there. Yes. But I started my career at the oldest post in the Marine Corps, Marine Barracks 8th and I, on that parade deck. And several combat tours. You went from enlisted to officer. And I concluded my career in the second oldest post of the Corps, the parade deck at Parris Island, South Carolina. So Parade Deck for me carries a very special meaning. And I know a year ago to this day, or is it yesterday, you had the other CEO of Parade Deck aboard, and a lot has changed since then. My clock starts from 1 August of last year. So, he did amazing things, and
Yes, he did.
and he planted the seeds for where we are today. And he's still behind the scenes doing a lot on the tech side, specifically on the tech side, to take Parade Deck to that next level. And we'll talk about some of that next level later on in our discussion.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, guys, if you are not aware of Parade Deck and you have a military affiliation, whether you are a veteran, currently on active duty, reserve, National Guard, military spouse, you need to make sure that you go out to www.paradedeck.com. Check out the platform, join in, become a member. I guarantee you, you will not regret that decision. I've been a member of Parade Deck now. I lost the count of the years, but it's definitely been a blessing to the growth uh, um, of my platform. And also to me as a person, I've learned so many different things while being a member of Parade Deck. So you want to make sure you go and check that out. And so you made a very valid point there. 30 years of service, numerous tours. I know even as I read your bio, that was probably just I know that was the short list, right? I know that was the short list, but and all of the things that you have learned in that journey, um, as a Marine, going from enlisted to officer and now into retirement. Can you give us, say, maybe 3 tips or 3 strategies that you learned on active duty that has helped you make a successful transition into the world of entrepreneurship?
LaQuita, you've been with Parade Deck longer than I have, so
Mm,
I salute you and my hat's off to you. And in preparing for this podcast, I did some homework, and in season 2, in your vision and values, the same things you talked about in that episode is what I implemented in the Marine Corps. Write it down.
yeah.
I'm a simple guy, and I like to be brilliant in the basics. And coming aboard Parade Deck, there was a lot going on, a whole
Mhm.
lot going on, and we can't do everything, and we can't be everything for everyone. So the rule of threes works for me. And with that, in the Marine Corps specifically, that rule of threes, from the 3 squads to 3 platoons to 3 battalions, it just builds on that rule of threes. And I found that useful as an entrepreneur. Um, are there 3 bullet points I can give you? I don't try. I don't give advice. I share what's worked for me, but I try to shy away from advice. But without question, and I don't recall what podcast. No, it's in your book. Your network is your network. Come on, somebody. You
Yes,
can't say it. So
yes,
I learned that as I was out processing or doing my and now I'm having a moment because I've deleted all that transition stuff. And transition is important. I'm not trying um, to denigrate the importance of the transition program. So transition assistance program, TAP, in the Marine Corps, during that process, it's a fire hose of information coming
yes, it
at
is.
you.
Yes, it is.
And I was in absorb mode and trying to grab everything and do it all, and it's impossible. So if there is one tip, one lesson learned that I will share, is as folks are transitioning, whether it's 4 years or 40 years, during that transition process, and you get that gold chip from LinkedIn, and you're in the LinkedIn network, and LinkedIn isn't giving me a penny, okay? Use it. That
Yes,
gold chip for your networking, it immensely
yes.
important to build what you're doing, what you're going to do, and to prepare you for a pivot like I had to do before I joined Parade Deck.
Absolutely. I love those. I love those tips. And as well, I could not agree more about the recommendation of LinkedIn. They're not paying me either, but if you are not exercising all that LinkedIn has to offer, you're missing some amazing networking opportunities. You're missing some amazing business building, skill building opportunities there on that on LinkedIn. It's just an amazing platform. And listen, we're going to take just a quick little break. We'll be right back, and we're going to continue this conversation. We'll be right back.
Attention entrepreneurs, are you ready to take your business to new heights? Join us for the TV Media Tour, where you'll gain the exposure, elevation, and expansion strategies you need for success. Get the tools and insights to run a thriving business. Register today at tvmediatour.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Transform your business. Register now.
Awesome. Listen, we've got some great comments coming in from the LinkedIn family as well. And so I'd like to thank everyone that is joining us from the various social media platforms. We've got people coming into the space from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as Twitch. We have a small Twitch community, and we're thankful for their support. And here we have Miss Cheryl A. Cross. Cheryl says that Riccoh is an excellent speaker, a wonderful advocate, and is hosting a platform for all of us. Go Parade Deck. My podcast is the Military to Civilian Career Transition Power Hour. Awesome. And it has grown exponentially since joining. I could not agree more, Cheryl. My podcast grew a lot. It did. It had some amazing growth when I joined the Parade Deck family. She also interviewed you recently and said that you are an amazing guest. We've got Miss Shelly Jeffco. Everybody loves Mrs. Pye. Mrs. Pye says that Riccoh is a rock star leader. And we've got none other than Mr. Tony Taylor in the house as well. He says, go Riccoh. Listen, guys, thank y'all so much coming in the room. Please let us know who you are, what platform you're joining us from, and please don't hesitate to engage in this conversation. The point of the conversation is not only to give information, but those of you that are in the viewing audience, you have a lot to share. So please don't hesitate to get in those comments and share your thoughts and opinions as well. And so, listen, Riccoh, you were saying there that vision and values, you're a person that you write the vision down, you make it plain. It's easy. You put the vision down on paper, and paper and pen, don't forget, those are tools that we can go back to. You might have to exercise that eraser a little bit. You don't give up on the goal, the end result. You may just need to make a couple of detours in the journey, and that's the importance of writing it down. And even as you were using, you said it was a 3-step approach.
The rule of threes, LaQuita. The rule
Yeah.
of threes. That's what's worked for me.
Awesome. And could you, for those that may not have a military background or may not be in the Marine Corps, could you give us a little bit on what is that rule of three?
That's fair. And we'll use Parade Deck as an example. I mean, when I came aboard last August, there was so much stuff that we were offering, from the events to the podcasters to books to public speakers to Parade Deck. I mean, there was just so much. And once again, we can't do everything. But for me, what are the 3 things that we're really good at? Okay. And right off the bat, we're really good at galvanizing our community of podcasters. That's our bread and butter. That's our backbone. Those are the folks that catapult us to the next level. And we can discuss the proof source of that later on. But before I forget, those 3 that came on, Cheryl, Shelly Jeffco, and Tony. And thank you. Mad props to them, because they get it. And what I mean by they get it is that we are a community. When you strip away everything else, what is Parade Deck? We're distribution. We are, the Parade Deck experience when we go to events and conventions and trade shows. But it started with that other CEO in the seat when the flag was a different color. We're all doing good stuff. But the community was the backbone, the vision that he had, where you have a voice, you have a right to use that voice, and you have a right to use that voice. You're not hurting anybody or being harmful or disruptive, illegal or moral indifferent. You're using your voice to hone your craft. Okay, I tell folks that, hey, if you're trying to be Joe Rogan or doggone Oprah or Will, the Parade Deck is not for you. Okay, I'm not guaranteeing you these exponential growth in your followers. That's not our goal. What I will guarantee is an opportunity to hone your craft, an opportunity to use our network to your benefit, and an opportunity to monetize. You're a candidate, Tony's a candidate, Shelly's a candidate, Cheryl's a candidate. because you all get it. And I'm committed to those podcasters, to those change makers who want to monetize. It is my duty. I am committed to laying that groundwork so they can do their thing. Because when a rising tide lifts all the ships, and we're about to start rising. Wait, did I hit something?
No, I did.
Okay.
I did.
I said, operator air. I was starting to preach. So I said,
See,
okay,
look. Mute myself. I wanted to make sure no accidental background noise interrupted your flow because you were flowing very well. But I love the fact that you mentioned, because in this content creator space, sometimes there are a lot of pitfalls that you can go into, right? And I remember there was many a Friday that Shelly and I met with and within the community group that you have there on Mighty Networks. And we would talk about some of those pitfalls, some of those strategies, and just have those conversations. It's not the networking is powerful, but we still, as content creators, have to do the legwork. You have to do the legwork, and even if you're a content creator and you're new in the space, one of the things that was really really great for me with being a part of Parade Deck at that time was a lot of the skill sets that I needed to learn. They were available to me for no cost or low cost because of the community. It's making sure you're in the right community that is adding value to your life, adding
absolutely.
personally, professionally, or both. And that was one of the things, but one of my greatest takeaways with being a part of the community. I learned so much about how to make my podcast grow. SEO, you were talking about the former CEO. He's really big in tech and SEO. He had some amazing sit down sessions with me. Had me scratching my head. Wait a minute, what you mean? But those things are what helped LaQuita's Toolbox now to be in the top 2.5% globally ranked podcast in the world right now because of some of the strategies and tools that I learned. So listen, again, this is another plug for the Parade Deck, www.paradedeck.com. If you are active duty, retired, reservist, National Guard, military spouse, go out to www.paradedeck.com. Join in, I don't want to call it the club, I'll say the family. Join in the family. You will not be disappointed. And so just as you know, you recap those three tools, those three rules that you follow. When you applied those three rules, when you stepped onto this Parade Deck platform, and because it was a lot, it is still a lot. How did you use those three rules to help streamline things to make that whole lot become effective, more effective?
LaQuita, I simplified it even more. I
Mm,
have two eyes, two ears, and one mouth. So I watched and I listened more than I talked. And I
mm,
30, 60, 90 as a commander. In command, when you sit in the seat of command, you have 30 days, 60-day, 90-day assessment to get your bearings. In the entrepreneurial world, I need more space than that. And the team and the advisory board was very gracious and showed me a lot of grace in me, taking off the uniform and pivoting, because I was doing feature films and documentaries when I took the uniform off. And my mentor, Spencer Proffer, he's in Hollywood. I worked on The Day the Music Died, Don McLean's American Pie. That's on Paramount Plus, and Reinventing Elvis, his 68 comeback special. Not my genre of music, but you got to pay the bills, right? So that was, we were churning and burning.
yes.
We had other things, on the horizon,
Mhm.
and then Hollywood went on strike.
Mm,
And that's when I pivoted to Parade Deck, full
mm,
time as the CEO. So by God's grace, everything works out the way it's supposed to.
yes.
And it was just, as I was learning and shaking off all the Marine Corps stuff, active duty, I put away the knife hand, I put that in the holster, didn't want to pull that out anymore, can't yell at people, so it's like I'm evolving and growing and learning at the same time. Parade Deck is evolving and growing and learning. So once again, it's not necessarily follow the money, but follow the community. And the
Mm.
former CEO, he talked about the 5.8 million followers when he was in the seat. And
Yes.
right now we have 134,424,103 in the community.
Come on. Say that number again. Say that
That's by
number
the
again.
grace.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't let them gloss over that. Say that number.
134,424,103. What does that mean? Does that mean Riccoh Player is going to send an email to 134 million folks? No, it does not. What it does mean, though, is as we galvanize as a community, the potential for your podcast to overlap with someone else's is greater in the community than outside of it.
Yes.
So what success looks like when we do this again next year on my anniversary of being in the seat for Parade Deck, prayerfully it'll look a lot different. And the number isn't the thing. The community is the thing.
Yes.
We're doing something right because the bulk of that big number is NASA. Okay. They based on what we did last year at the Military Influencers Conference, NASA was on board and they are committed to bringing their veterans into the Parade Deck. The VA, they dig what we're doing. The American Legion, the VFW, and DAV, Disabled American Veterans, they get it and they have a problem. That problem is membership. So they see what we are doing. We are trying to put the best practices in place and get to members, young folks like us, who are going to be in those, leadership seats to change what grandpa's DAV and VFW, what it was, and make it something more intriguing, attractive, compelling for this younger generation of veterans. So it's hard work, it's heavy lifting, but I love it every day because of the folks that are tuning in right now. I saw some other pop-ups on there. The folks that get it, I'm telling you what we got coming next. Lawrence Haywood, get on board because we're about to ramp it up again.
Yes. Listen, you guys don't want to miss this. You do not want to not be a part of the growth that is happening and the community building that is happening. As an entrepreneur, a content creator, it doesn't matter what space you go into. Some of the key terms and buzzwords are always building community, collaboration, and growth. Those are the three, if I can say, those are the three hot topics within the entrepreneur space, especially as content creators. If we're not in thriving communities that are truly helping to build one another, not just something, that's large and ineffective, but being a part of effective communities that promote growth, then the things that we're looking to do as content creators, it'll be harder to do if we cannot do it collectively with the community and have room for collaboration opportunities. And so love what you're doing there. So you said you took your time, sat back, and you looked, you listened, and you learned. And then you begin to simplify. And you took Parade Deck and be clear that 5-6 million was not a small number to start with.
Come on, somebody.
That was not a small number to start with at all. You more than 10x this thing, though.
Well,
you more than 10x this thing with the simple strategies of look, listen, learn, and simplify.
Come on, LaQuita. Come on. There's nothing new under the sun, right?
Right.
So it has been fun, but I got to brag on you a little bit because I'm very time conscious, and I can't let you slide out of here because I did my homework. All right. And so the power of publicity, how to leverage the media to increase your credibility. Yes. You not only talk about on your podcast, you do it. And I've seen, I watched your evolution as I went combed through all of your podcasts from your chip at the very first one. You changed I checked it all out. And then as we were leading up to this, you hit me on Instagram, you hit me on doggone Twitter. Is it X now? You hit me there. It was on LinkedIn. You did it. You were the textbook. This is how you do it. Honing your craft, using the tools, a lot of times low cost, because I'm very cost conscious for folks. Yes. We're not trying to break anybody, but bills have to be paid.
Yes, they do.
I got to give props to your covenantpress.com. They've been with you from the beginning. You're
Yes,
loyal
they
to the
have.
people that are loyal to you. And are they still active duty Air Force?
They're
That
still
couple?
active duty Air Force station in England. They are
Okay.
on well, now I was about to say RF Alconbury, but that's where I live.
But they're veteran-owned business, looking
Yes,
out for another veteran-owned business. That's what
absolutely.
our community is all about. It's one thing to share a sermon. It's another thing to live that sermon. Come on, somebody.
Come on now, you say that again. For sure. For sure. It's easy to talk the talk, but it's a whole different matter to walk the walk. But that is something that, I am definitely passionate about my military community, especially as it relates to military spouses, and Covenant Press exemplifies that. Uh, what the owners are active duty military, is active duty service member, and his wife, a proud Air Force spouse. And there's just so much I can say in that, but my entire platform is designed to bring tools that help our listeners grow personally and professionally. And if I am not an active example of that, then I can't help you learn. I can't help you learn, and even I know you guys have seen the commercial that I'm doing. I have a program going on right here in Killeen, Texas. And if you're not familiar with Killeen, we are the home of Fort Cavazos, the biggest U.S. military installation, Oconus or Conus. And the point for this TV media tour, yes, are we empowering civilians? But my passion is to empower within my local community the veterans, military spouses, and active duty members that make Fort Cavazos the great place, to help them grow and scale in their entrepreneur journeys, especially within the creator space, to be able to provide them the tools necessary to do what they see others doing, or if you're doing it, how to get it to the next level. And having you on the show today is very key to that, because I truly believe in the mission and the vision of the parade deck. And if they're not connected, they need to be connected. And there's so many other veteran-owned businesses that have partnered to make this event possible. I can't wait to have them in that space.
Outstanding. So, how much time do we have left?
We only have a few more minutes, so we have enough time left for you to give us 1 or 2 more tidbits, because you mentioned you were a documentary filmmaker, and I know, like, we had 27 minutes. We can't gloss over that. Like, Emmy award winning documentary filmmaker, and you just go shout out, your films and say, and they're out there on Paramount. Come on, now, can't gloss over that.
So the documentaries, they're on Paramount Plus. It costs too much to put them on Parade Deck right now. I'm working on it. But the Emmy Award was with my man Rick Robinson, Marine veteran. We were there in the Pentagon, and the very abbreviated the 2019 Marine Corps birthday video. That's what we earned the Emmy Award for. So
awesome. Listen, Parade Deck has a lot to offer. Mr. Riccoh Player has a lot to offer. We're going to have him back again on the Parade Deck, because there are so many, I know within the Fort Cavazos area and our surrounding areas, so many independent filmmakers who would love an opportunity to just pick your brain about how to take what they have and get it to the next level. So we're going to talk about that when you come again. But listen, thank you. We appreciate you so much. Please let everyone know how they can reach you if they have any additional questions about the Parade Deck.
Always paradedeck.com. You've been hitting it every moment, LaQuita, so thank you. I'm on LinkedIn. I think there's only one Riccoh on there, Riccoh, Riccoh Player. And I can't tell you enough how important it is to see you not just talking, but doing, lifting others up as you climb and grow. And you are, I will make an executive decision. You're going to be one of my ambassadors. And I'll close with this. What do we have on deck? Of course, the Military Influencer Conference in Atlanta this September. We just acquired the Parade Deck Veteran Podcast Network. It was the Veteran Podcast Network, now it's powered by Parade Deck. We have the Veteran Podcast Awards, and I bought the rights to the Veteran Podcast Day. The big thing that the podcasters should be listening to is the Ambassador Program. If you were looking for that moment to monetize, it's here, okay? It's here, and it's our Parade Deck ambassadors. So Cheryl, Shelly, Tony, LaQuita, you are my top 4. And of course, Teresa, she's over in Europe. But you all have been with Parade Deck before I arrived, but you have not wavered. You've been sterling examples of what the community is supposed to do, how we're supposed to lift each other up, how we're supposed to tag and build that SEO as a community, because that SEO is what drives advertising, and that's what gets us paid, period.
Yeah. Period. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I am super excited about that opportunity. We will be chatting more offline, but I appreciate you. And thank you to all of you that have showed up here in the comments. Those of you that are watching live and will watch on the replay, we appreciate you. Hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Get this episode out in the hands of as many people as possible. Until next time, I am your host, LaQuita Monley. You guys be great and have an amazing rest of your evening. Take care.